What's up, everybody? It's good to see you again. So today we're just gonna have like a little more of an experiment. I think I made a small form change recently, and with that form change, all I really did was I changed my hit point in my throw, which is something that I hadn't really thought about too much in years, honestly, because I just thought that my hit point was where it was, and that I didn't need to adjust it. The problem with that is it wasn't comfortable, and I just have felt lately that in this sea of information that you can find all over the internet, all over YouTube about do this with your form, do this with your form, you're doing this wrong, but it's all contradictory. I'm leaning more and more towards what feels right for my body, what feels comfortable, and then looking at professional form that seems to model that. And the more I look at professional form, the more I'm seeing that m- the hit point that a lot of these guys have as they come through is more like 11 o'clock is like kind of out here, whereas mine, I think I was so focused on getting really deep into the pocket that I was trying to kind of turn my chest out and release more at 12. And sometimes I could be accurate, but if I'm being completely honest, I just wasn't very confident in that. So lately I've been trying to think about my hit point being 11 o'clock, and that's been my focus, and I've been having really good results. So we're just going to play around with that focus in mind, and it's a chance for me to show off one of my safari layouts that I have out here at my little Shangri-La course in West Knoxville. All right, so if you've been on the channel at any point, you've probably seen me play out here at Two Rivers Church, and I'll be thankful for any course that we have. The main layout is okay, but we've created a lot of safari layouts because there's never anybody here. After playing these layouts multiple times, just because this location's close to my house, you get a little bored after a little while, and I really wanted to work on my gap hitting abilities. So I created a 9-hole layout that every single hole does have a gap that you have to hit. So starting here at hole 1, dead straight, we're going to traditional hole 1's basket. I think it's like 320 feet. So you've got a low ceiling there at the end, and then you've got a whole bunch of gaps to choose from. You could go over the top, which if I was in a tournament and had the arm, sure, why not? But that defeats the purpose of this training. I'm using this layout mainly as a training ground, and y'all, it's nails hard. Parking lot is also OB, like all concrete essentially is OB, with drop zones and everything. The best I've ever done on this layout is down 4, so today we're trying to at least hit down 5, see if this new technique of me hitting at 11 o'clock is helping. All right, so hole 1's great for like a flip up pushing hyzer. We're just going to kind of visualize hitting this right gap. I think the flex plays, but there's a lot of wind out there, and I don't want anything to go on top of that building. So we're going to really test this gap hitting theory and try for this right gap, which is much skinnier. Just visualize. Hit point is here. Let's get it out there. Yep, that'll play. Get down in there. That was too high. That's why I kind of like going mid on this hole, because it's not that far. But yeah, it's okay. We crashed into the trees, probably have a long putt. So again, this is a pretty recent form change that I've made, but it just makes me feel confident. Like I feel like I know exactly when the disc is coming out, whereas previously I just didn't. I was lining up my feet very much the way you would at kind of a bowling alley using the arrows on the lanes, and I still completely believe in aiming with your feet to get your hips in line, but I do need to track the right direction and get things in line, and this just helps me confidently do that. So we'll see. This is kind of what we got here. Like I said, it's kind of nice if you get it a little bit wider because you kind of crash into the green here. Flex plays, but in the summertime, you get a lot of these low-hanging branches. So, yeah, let's see if we can't drain a C2 putt. Man, it's just windy out today. It's just terribly windy. Stay up. No. Better. We'll take a par. Par's fine, because you know what? This layout's actually brutal. And while our goal is to get down 5, and we probably should be getting that one, even on this layout, it's a great score. All right, guys, hole 2. So I'll probably end up moving you just a little bit just so you can see the basket, but really fun shot. You've got to get out the tunnel here, and then the basket plays as an island, so it's surrounded by sidewalk, and if you don't land inside that island, then you go to the drop zone, which is like a mid-circle 2 putt. I like to take the Toro, hit it flat. You can see the gap's pretty close, but it is still a gap that we need to hit. So See if we can't drill this off the tee. Toro flat should get us there. Yep, plenty of width. Out the gap. We got a putt. I know you guys can relate to this too. You'll make like one small change and it seems to work for you right away. That's why I was kind of hesitant to post a video about this, but it just feels so comfortable. It feels like I'm leaning into the natural characteristics and mechanics of my body instead of using a bunch of tips to kind of go against what my body feels like it should be doing. Get you guys out of the sun. Hopefully that's better. It's not perfect by any means, and who knows, it could fade off, it could wear off, but right now it feels really, really good. So we're just out here filming. One of the reasons I wanted to do this is last night I came out and I almost shot down 10 on the 9-hole layout, which was really cool. So, all right, let's see if I can actually make a putt today. It's so friggin' windy out here. Oh, Macarena. Come on. Let's go. On the stripe. Oh, gross. We're on the board. It's down 1, 7 holes to play. Yes, you can see there's the basket. So, road, OB, sidewalk, OB, and then right there's the pathway up to the modular building. That's also OB. So you can go deep and be pretty safe, but this hill is really brutal. So fun little island hole. And all threes over here. All right, safari layouts are what they are. I use this crack right here in the road, but the basket is all the way up in that row of trees to the left, tucked away. It's really like a stock hyzer or something straight that just fades a little bit to the left, but concrete is OB. So super hard. If you land on the concrete, it plays as a drop zone on this hole. So hopefully we don't have to go there, but it's at the crosswalk up there on the left side of the island. Envy is the play with this headwind, maybe a little bit of hyzer, like it might flip. This one normally doesn't flip, but it could. Hips, hit point. I'm trying to just like shut off my brain too and stop being so into it and just like, hey, let's have fun and throw frisbees because I play my best golf when I do that. Yep, we got the flip. If it gets around that tree, we're good. Get in there. Y'all saw that, right? It crossed. It hit the grass and then bounced OB. Y'all, I ain't never seen a kick like that in my life. It like hit flat. You'll see it on camera. I'm gonna maybe try to zoom in, but it like hit flat and crossed in bounds. And now I'm trying to figure out with my own rules. Do I go to the drop zone? Because this is really the first inbounds area and it did cross inbounds. So do I take it there for my par or do I have to save my par from back there? I think for the sake of the video, since I hit the gap or really kind of hit that line, I'm going to take it up here. And if you guys want to flame me in the comments, fine, whatever. But it's just weird. That's a really weird result. It like hit flat and like got a weird bounce backwards. Like, but it hit flat. I've just never seen that. Crazy. Crazy. Whatever, man. We'll call it par. It'll be fine. We'll reward an okay tee shot if it was an okay tee shot. All right, so hole 4. Normally we have 2 options, but there's a dumpster over here. It's still kind of in play, but I need to trim some of these branches up a little bit. But low ceiling, you've got left gap, right gap. We're going to the basket that's in between the 2 trees right there. So if you took these trees out of the center island, the basket's dead straight ahead, maybe like 320 feet. Play for me is typically forehand, but we're not going to do that because this is about backhand accuracy. So terrible wind for this though. So I think we're just going to try to force over a hex, maybe just a little bit, just like a little bit of ante on a hex, more stable hex. Shout out to Zachary for giving me this one. But yeah, we're going to go left gap because I don't really have the height now with that dumpster to get there and see if we can't make this work. This is tough. And you know what? I'm not good at force over, so I think we're going to go flip up. So I'm actually going to go flippy hex, almost flat or a little bit of hyzer. So that way I'm not already throwing an uncomfortable shot. Yep. That should be fine. Might have even turned over way too much. But I cannot stress to you how much I would never throw a backhand on this hole. Because I've just not been that comfortable with my accuracy. Like, I know mostly where it's going, and on some days it's been really good, but this feels really locked in, you guys. Feels really good. One of the things that I think led me to start making smaller changes like this too is the fact that I have been filming myself more, and the just huge gap between what your brain is telling you that you're doing when you're throwing versus what you're actually doing is insane. I would encourage all of you, if you are working on anything at all, go film yourself, because I didn't necessarily feel like I needed to work on my game, but after watching the way I've been throwing, I just realized I needed a big change. Where did this hex go? Oh, okay. Yeah, we actually went deep. Nice. Welcome to the shortest basket in all of Knoxville. It's also leaning just a little bit, which is fine that it's low because we have a little bit of a low ceiling putt here. Did not think I was going to go deep, but definitely the wind pushed this over a little further than I wanted. We might have to like do the Gannon Burr from a knee. I think we might. Does he do that? That feels awkward. Does he do this? Is this legal? Sure. And I'm feeling 36. Got straight headwind. This is to get down to. It'd be nice. Oh, man, it's lifting out of my hand. Give it to him. Ba 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 ba. Player A is going in, and we don't care. Watch out. Watch what you're doing. I seen you. Y'all see that branch try to get me? Try to get me. All right, this one I will go forehand on. When we're talking about hitting gaps on a gap layout, this is kind of a cop-out. There's not really a gap, but I love having really good short ace runs on my layouts, like at least one. So here we are. It's like 120, 130 feet to the bucket. But this is something that I think is a really common distance that people mess up all the time. And so just to have this in the middle of the course is really nice because this distance comes into play a lot. And it's just a fun ace run. So we're going to go with the A5, see if we can't get some magic here today. I'm going to aim on, we've got a really strong tailwind, so I could probably throw this flat, just right at the tree, and maybe we'll catch metal. That'd be neat. I do have a little finger injury that's kind of giving me some bugaboos, but I'll be gentle. I like it. Drop, drop, drop. Oh, all right. Probably a good tree. A5 putt. Whoa, he's in. That puts us at, I don't even remember. I'll calculate and get with you on the next hole. All right, unscrambled my brain. We are currently down 3, so we're looking pretty good, actually. We can really do this. This hole looks terrible on camera, but it's not so bad in person. We're throwing out this gap, so T is somewhere up there, whatever, have fun. But we're kind of throwing uphill with a low ceiling, so you've got a pretty narrow gap here. We're going to the basket in the far back right corner, which is a little scary because the thickest thorns and brambles and blackberries and bristles you ever seen in your life are back there. So you don't want something that's going to turn over. So this is like a wraith that I don't really care about too much. So I'm going to throw it on hyzer because we have a ripping headwind. And if you lace this shot, you are essentially throwing directly at the thorns. So if it turns over, sayonara. But this is a good one. Helps you with your height control too. It's just right back there. It's just weird. It's just one of those holes that feels like for some reason it plays really far, because in theory I should be able to get a mid there, but I can't. I can't do it. So give this enough hyzer because the bailout left is what we want. 1, 2, skiddly diddly do. Oh, we missed that box. Wow, that actually flipped up a lot. All right, so we missed the line. Felt confident and still like, okay, we missed the gap. We'll just say that. We missed the gap. But I was confident. We'll go with this wraith, which definitely will not go in the thorns. Hopefully not famous last words. I would like to make that correction. I'm sure if I look back on camera, I bet my hips were probably lined up a little this direction. But it didn't feel like it, which is why it's important for you guys to film yourselves. Keep it out a little bit wider. Yes, that was it. So made the correction, and that was just dead center on the gap. I thought about my hips more. I won't be surprised if I check the footage and I'm a little out of line. Guys, I just wanted to take a minute to show you these thorns because being an East Tennessee boy, I have a real appreciation growing up in the woods of a nice thick old patch of briars and brambles and bushes. But you know what happens if you throw your disc into that absolute Narnia of puncturing, terrifying death? You should go to Russell Disc Golf and just replace that disc. and you should use code DECENT10 when you're there to get 10% off of your order. And if you spend $50 or more and use code SHIP50, you're going to get even more off of that. So it's kind of a no-brainer. If you haven't checked out Russell Disc Golf, Jeremiah and his crew are super friendly, super nice. They're a local shop to us, but they've also been vending at a lot of the Pro Tour stops. So please go check out their website. You might find that old disc that you just thought no person would carry at all. He might have it in his inventory. He specializes in a lot of niche and used discs, but he also has all of the new and latest drops and a lot of really good brands in his inventory. So go check out Russell Disc Golf if you haven't. I'll put the link in the description of this video. Let's get back to it. All right, guys. So again, that was a missed release. Probably hips were off, or maybe I'm just still terrible at disc golf. Who knows? But either way, circle two again. We went deep by a good bit and we're off, but hey, this could go in the bucket. That is one of the possibilities. So we'll see. Is it likely? But hey, you never know. C2, putt's been feeling pretty good lately. Wind feels down right now. If I can just breathe and capitalize, that would be cool. Come on. Oh. Course player B goes in. Can confirm that the mosquitoes are officially out. It's the end of April, and I'm very, very unhappy about it. So that's neat. This is probably the coolest hole at Two Rivers. I'm really happy with this one. We're trying to just get in between those trees right there. Telephone pole, I've hit it so many times. Volleyball court pole, hit it so many times. Volleyball court is OB, and remember, all concrete is OB. So this is playing to the furthest basket from us right now. It's all the way in those trees in the far back left of the property, but we're playing out this gap right here. If you had a huge, huge arm, you could go over the building, but then you're probably going to end up in the parking lot. So this is the play here. Feel the rhythm, feel the rhyme. Come on now. It's a bobsled time. Cool runnings. That needs to turn, needs to turn, needs to turn, needs to turn. Oh, and you know what? Dang it. We'll talk about this. This is a very risk-reward shot. So you almost want to lay up, and it's been a little while since I've played this layout, but there's this bowl. There's like a dip between this side of the field and the far side of the field. And most of my best drives end up down in the bottom of that bowl, or maybe just the other side, but that means I'm going to have an uphill run up, like a weird run up, and I'd rather be like 50, 60 feet short and flat and higher up and have a better run up, because the next shot is big and it's to an island, and tonight I'm going to have to miss cars to make it happen also. But that's okay. But you can see there's this like bowl right here, and I'm almost to the flat side over there, but I'm still going to have like a weird uphill run up. Still down 3, and I've got this. This is a hard hole to birdie. The next hole is really hard to birdie, and then the last hole we should birdie it. We'll see. All right, so the objective here is to like just get safe, but we have to hit this gap. Concrete's OB, and we're trying to hit a tiny island over there, but we do have a ripping tailwind right now. I just don't know if I can blitz disc golf this all the way there. Still have a tailwind. Maybe aim at that tree as a spot and hope we hyzer in, because if we hyzer in front of it, we can get a good skip. It's 11 o'clock. Oh! All right, give me the hyzer. Get in there. I heard parking lot. We were pretty nose up on that. Stand still, kind of standing uphill. I got excuses, y'all. You can't tell. I got excuses for days. I'm thinking we skipped really early, and we're sitting in the parking lot. All right, so the good news is we're safe, but just because we got lucky, we skipped like through the gap in the hollies there. So came up probably like 30 short of the island right there, but we're here, we're safe, we're in bounds. We've got another interesting putt. Yeah, I'll go ahead and I'll take that flip. Sure, why not? Weird putt we got here. I should straddle, but I have no power from a straddle, so we're gonna try and like little Annie putt with a tailwind. So gosh, I don't know what this is gonna do. Come on, man. Give it a chance. like that. Like, why couldn't we just do that? Yeah, even the driver wants to go in. Okay, you know what? We're not doing bad. We're not excelling. But the thing we set out to learn about, we are doing. The drives are feeling better off the tee, hitting gaps and intended lines. All because of this one form cue. That's it. That's what we set out to do. Making it happen, Captain. Hopefully just in time to play some tournaments too. Did I tell you guys to film yourselves? Film yourself playing. It'll change your perspective on your game. Or it might actually just make you hate yourself and hate your own game. You can change it. Probably. All right, I'm trying to play through this quick. This is what I call like the kind of weird, not really illegal, just kind of sketchy park hole. I came across the street to Bob Leonard Park, which is really nice. We're throwing at the basket up there in front of the house. Anything before the road is OB, and you proceed, I believe, to a drop zone is what I made it. We just go re-tee over here. Cars are coming, so you kind of have to check. I'm going to go honey, hard birdie, really hard. Doesn't look like any cars are coming, so we're just going to rip it and hope. There. Just hope we get across. All right, we got across, and it was just a bad shot. Incoming excuses. Definitely too flippy of a disc. Released it way too flat. I really liked it if I released it on hyzer. I think that's just a good indicator of this is how I play, you guys. You know, making a form change. Is it going to work 100% of the time? No, but is it working a lot? Sure. And a lot of that is, ironically, don't love to have like a crowd of people watching, which is feels like kind of silly for YouTube people to say, but I don't know. Cars could be crossing the road. There's like a whole bunch of pickleballers hanging out right there, and I don't know, a little nervy. Just felt uncomfortable off the tee. This is not going to be the easiest up and down I ever did see. Should we try for birdie anyways? Do the Gannon Burr again. Oh, why do I keep putting the wrong knee down? No, this makes me feel like I'm going to throw straight into the hill. Probably should just go out this gap, but that's no fun. We want to get this in. Ugh. All right, we'll save par. Okay, still sitting down 3. That was a bad tee shot. That was a bad left-handed putt. Let's go play the last hole. All right, you guys, I have to apologize. This is not the traditional last hole on my layout. Last hole is not my favorite hole, but that car is parked in the one spot. There's literally like one spot. Any other spot, right or left, and I can kind of make it work, but it kind of is what it is. So we're just gonna move it and make it a little harder, actually. So I'm gonna tee off through the breezeway. Now it's pretty dead straight. We're playing to the basket back there by the building. I'm gonna go hex because I think it would be fun to get a hex there. Here's to hoping my favorite hex doesn't clip one of the corners of these because they're really sharp. So last hole to end it on. Maybe we can tie our best. So we'll see. Maybe keep my hips a little more open. Yep. And then when I come back, 11 o'clock is like perfectly there. So it's almost like my run up. It has to be like a little more right than I normally feel. Yep. We got it out there. And we parked it. That's nice. All right, we're just outside of Bullseye here. Hopefully, I don't show you a spectacular display of my putting woes, because I've been known to miss these. But not today. Not that one. And not that one. Cool. Neat. So we tied our best. There's nothing wrong with that. All right, guys. Well, thanks for coming along for this round. I'm glad I could showcase that layout for you guys. Again, if you're ever in the area and you want to check out Two Rivers Church, I've got multiple layouts here, and I think a lot of the safari layouts are fun, and usually there's no one around. I did run into some people, so hey, shout out to the guys that asked for a quick little lesson. I hope you guys stick with it. I really do. Disc golf is super rewarding, super fun, and I know it's extremely hard and extremely frustrating at the beginning, but take those tips I gave you, look online, and just have fun with your friends, and you'll get better. All right, guys, that about does it for this video. I hope you really enjoyed coming along out here and playing some more safari with me at Two Rivers Church. I really enjoy that layout. I'm sorry you didn't get to see the last hole, but I'm sure we'll get to see it at another video at some point. Remember to like and subscribe, and please comment to this. If you enjoyed it, you can tell me something I can do better in the video or something you think that might need help in my form, because a lot of it needs help. But just leave a comment because it really helps the YouTube algorithm. YouTube just loves to eat all that up, and then it starts spitting it out to more people. And again, this is a hobby for me. I'm not trying to make money off of it, but I do want to grow the channel just because it's a personal interest and it's really fun. So I'm glad you guys stopped in. Until next time, have fun, get better, stay decent.